TKO Radio. Prepare for takeoff in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, Lord. I'm the man what it look like. And you know I got the plan because the book's tight. Hey, give you a little intro. We are here. We are here. We are blessed. Shout out to all of those tuning in right now.
Around the world, worldwide, hello.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Happy February 29th. We already know this date. It comes around once every 4 years. So a special, special happy birthday if you were born on a February 29th.
Yep, shout out to all my leap year babies.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Shout out to all of you. Shout out to all of you. We're here. We're here again, Moonwalking with Dawn Daze. And we're looking forward to, again, closing out this Black History Month, this Black Future Month strong, and coming into Women's History Month
Talk about it.
even stronger as well.
You know, what I like to think of February and March combined is just Black Women's Month. This is our month, y'all. For 29 plus 31 days. We got an extra day this year, too. So, all my Black women out there, this is our time, February, March. Let's make it happen. Shout out to my Black men. Shout out to all my women of all races and creeds. But special shout out to my Black girls because February, March is our time. Okay.
Yes, Lord. The marathon continues.
Speaking, yeah, go ahead. What you got to say?
Living this Black history, and we want to be very diligent with our language because, again, we are here to moonwalk. So going beyond that word Black, because the words we use have incredible power.
Yep.
So understanding the essence of what Blackness is, to be a member of the African diaspora, to have melanin in your being. Again, we want to give a special, special shout out to all the human beings all the way across the planet. But it's no secret. That phrase, unapologetically black, Black excellence, is something that has resonated with me. And I can confidently say the same thing for Mickey LaDawn. And it still resonates. In that same regard, again, we don't want to necessarily put ourselves in a box in how we describe ourselves. So, as we come here today, again, on 101 TKO Radio at Privy Stonecrest, continuing the legacy of those great, great ancestors that paved the way at a Black Wall Street, a Harlem Renaissance, and beyond. We want to continue to cultivate that energy. And as we cultivate that energy, we want to understand that we're all divine beings living this human experience. So if you are a Black person in America, just know that you are very special. You are chosen, and it's an incredible thing to reflect on how far we've come in the past 100 to 400 years.
Yeah, straight up.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, again, just with today, the last day of Black History Month, we want to be focused on the future and how we're manifesting and paving a way for those to come.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you mentioned, we are here at Privy Stonecrest. If y'all didn't know, we are tapping in with the city of Stonecrest. Shout out to the mayor. Shout out to Rick Ross, who was here in the building just yesterday. There are beautiful things happening at Privy Stonecrest and 101 TKO Radio. So make sure y'all are locked in on social media, all platforms, on what's happening here. A big shout out to what happened this past weekend. We had someone really special that was here at Privy, Joe Salter, someone that is huge in the creative community, a musician, an actor, a game developer. So that was a dope experience being able to come here and be a part of the Exposure Hub. And so big shout out to Joe Salter. Big shout out to everybody here at Privy that's making that happen. I really appreciated not only being able to hear what he had to say, but let's not forget too all the amazing things and all the amazing people that were there too that were sharing, and it was a beautiful mastermind moment. So if you were there live this weekend at Privy, shout out to y'all. It was great meeting you, and I'm looking forward to more events just like that coming to Privy. I mean, every week. We got even something going on tomorrow, Privy After Dark. So if y'all are listening, make sure that you, especially if you're in Atlanta, you come by and see this live because there's so many things going on, and you're going to want to be on the forefront of it. Otherwise, later on, you're going to be kicking yourself, wishing that you were plugged in when you had the chance. Okay?
Indeed, indeed. Get in the mix. Do not be afraid to make your network your net worth. We all got to start somewhere. So each one teach one, and God willing, we can reach one.
Yes.
You dig.
Yes.
So we're happy to be here, man. We're blessed to be here. Make sure y'all download that 101 TKO Radio app. to really tune in, to really support on a whole different level and frequency. We're here in a 101 TKO studio. Again, just the evolution, new paint job, looking real nice, real nice. Again, just the beautiful, beautiful energy in this new season is undeniable. And we're going to continue to make sure we're capitalizing off of it. Just kind of recapping on a little bit of a adventure we had this weekend. Again, shout out to all those Atlanta sports fans. Me personally, I am a hometown basketball fan. Again, I'm from the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, so I rock with the Wizards on the basketball side. But being down here in Atlanta, I got a lot of love for the Hawks. Shout out to Trae Young, my fellow light-skinned point guard. Again, it was great to go to HBCU night at the Hawks game. Special shout out to Aunt for letting me hold her seat. She's a season ticket holder, so shout out to Auntie. Just blessed with that experience. You had the HBCU energy, very, very prevalent, very, very prominent. Just the whole vibe was just different. You already know when they bring the bands out for the halftime show, that vibration takes you to a different space. So shout out to the whole AUC, all the HBCUs, from Morehouse to Spelman, to Clark Atlanta, all the HBCUs all across the world.
TSU, PV,
yes,
in
shout
Texas.
Out to Howard, Hampton, and the list goes on. So special shout out to Tuskegee. I was just chopping it up with some of those.
Yep.
So it's a blessing to understand the different opportunities that we all have. Again, college is not everybody's thing. And when it comes down to 2024 and the perspective and the strategy for these young people and decide what they do when they turn 18, college may not be the wisest choice. But we are always going to prioritize education. And it is a strong choice. Don't get it twisted. The percentage is pretty high. Just in terms of the different foundations in the community that you can build in those kind of spaces. So, again, a blessing to just spend the weekend engulfed in
Atlanta culture,
and with our people, and we just look forward to continuing to get engulfed in the Atlanta culture here. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So just kind of getting adjusted to being back outside it's been a thing. I know we're coming up on the 4-year anniversary of when the world shut down on March 13th. So that's about 2 weeks away. So again, we're in a new space. We're in a new era. So again, appreciate all of y'all for rocking with us.
Yeah. Shout out. I want to do one more just shout out to my friend Kusi, who's going to be moving to Atlanta soon. I saw her this weekend. She's a dope hairstylist. Kusi Badass, Booked and Badass. It is on Instagram. She will be in Atlanta soon, but if you're in Houston, tap in with her because she won't be here won't be there much longer. Okay, she's coming to Atlanta. She's going to be outside with us, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. Lots of other good things to come. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about. Did anyone see what happened at that Oma concert in London? We're going to talk about what it's like to be in a relationship versus single when you're in public. Talk a little bit about the moon landing that was the first in, I think was like 50 years. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And, of course, the importance of having your own content and your own media and the beauty and future of what's to come of AI and all those beautiful things in the music and media space. And like we already said, it's a leap day, so we're going to talk a little bit about that as we read the stars. Stay tuned. Keep it locked. It's Moonwalking with Dawn Daze on 101 TKO Radio.
So, I typed a text to a girl I used to see, saying that I chose this cutie pie.
What's going on, National Family? We are back, Moonwalking with Dawn Daze on 101 TKO Radio.
Yeah.
If you do not already have the app downloaded, would you please go ahead to your app store, go ahead to the Play Store, whether you're on Android or iOS. Could you please download that app for us?
Straight up.
Please and thank you. We appreciate that. Also, 101TKOradio.com is where you can also access this beautiful content. The whole programming, again, is really curated to not only give you a special vibe, give you special value, but we just want to have a great time. And we're here on a very clear mission to build community. So
that's what it's about.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So we're going to take advantage of all those amazing tools and resources. We're going to do what we can to create the culture, to shift the culture, to shift paradigms. And ownership is a big thing. Yeah. So shout out to all the platforms out there where folks are able to share their message. Shout out to Big Cuzzo just joined the chat on IG. Appreciate you, cuz. Again, we're in a situation right now where we have the blessing to partner with 101 TKO Radio. And with that black-owned energy carrying from Black History Month on to the future. Yep. We want to ensure that we're emphasizing ownership. We're emphasizing the economic opportunity that comes with this. So when we ask y'all to download these apps, it's not only because we got to pay bills, but we also want to make sure that we're spreading love and light. We're spreading resources to the community so that we can reinvest in ourselves, in our business, and into other upcoming businesses and communities. So
yep, and it's Black History Month. It's the last day. You got an extra day.
Come on.
If all month you were kind of slacking, you weren't supporting Black business.
Yeah, you're gonna get some extra blessings.
Here's your moment right now.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Download the app. Follow us online. Get on the website. Get on the YouTube. Just get engaged, y'all. It's that time. It's definitely that time.
We got a lot of amazing things to come, and it'll speak for itself. The proof will be in the pudding. The evidence will be clear.
Yeah.
Trust and believe. Trust and believe. So when we talk about the clear evidence, man, again, fidelity is something else. It is something else. If you have not heard, there was a concert, a Omalay concert. Omalay is an Afrobeats artist. I'm pretty sure this concert happened in the UK.
Yep, it happened in London.
It happened in London.
The venue was actually called the Eventum Apollo, and if y'all don't know, our business name is the Apollo Project. So another reason to make sure we bring this up to y'all.
Facts. So picture this: go to a concert, and we did a little deep dive on understanding some of the logistics. But you go to the concert with your significant other. In this scenario, just to be clear, again, shout out to the young lady and the young man that are basically at the center of attention right now. We know news cycles move fast, but this conversation has been going on at least for the past several days since the weekend. And again, it's no secret that they're both getting a lot of backlash. So picture this. You go to a concert with your significant other. The young lady, one of her favorite artists, so I know she was a big part in getting those tickets, securing that bag.
Yeah, but he got them for her as a gift.
He did get them for her as a gift. Got it.
Front row.
Got it. I saw something that she said that she got the tickets.
Ooh.
So that's where I was clarifying. So
okay.
I did see that. So I wanted to clarify.
See, this is why we gotta be careful.
That's what folks assume. Folks assume that the guy got the tickets.
Yeah.
But ultimately,
she got them.
She did in that scenario. But regardless, you both go. You're rocking out. You've been together for a little less than a year, and you pull up at the concert. You're front row. So to be front row at a concert like that, again, where it's standing room only, you got to get there early. Mm-hmm. You got to be standing for a minute. And because this is her favorite artist, she already knows how it goes down. So Omalay in his concert, he has a point where he brings a young lady up on stage. He drops a silhouette, and they get freaky. You know what I'm saying? We just came out of our break playing What's Your Fantasy by Ludacris. Special shout out to Luda. You know, him starting his career in this radio space and transferring to the artistry, to the film. We in that same bag. Trust and believe. Big inspiration. All that to say, What's Your Fantasy? Clearly her fantasy was getting up on that stage because she did not hesitate.
No, she lived in her fantasy.
To get on that stage, and Omalay, again, he did what he does. And he was, again, slow stroking, bumping, grinding, all that good stuff. behind that silhouette. And
even before the silhouette, they were on stage doing, getting a little physical, and then the silhouette really took it to a new level.
Right. Long story short, man. People see this situation happen and people capture it on social media. Of course, when people go to concerts nowadays, they want to capture that moment and that memory. We appreciate phones, but sometimes phones could mess up the vibe. One Love, Fantasia, I think we saw her on a recent show. I saw a clip of her saying, hey, take our picture now, get your angles. Now put your phones away and enjoy the night. Yeah. Y'all paid some tickets for this concert. But again, at this Omalay concert in the UK, they were getting all the angles. They put together the whole story, and it is definitely a conversation, amongst, I know the millennial demographic. I've seen a number of different perspectives from different communities. So we're bringing it here to Moonwalking with Dawn Daze. Again, us being in a relationship, us being in this space where we're not foreign to the spotlight, and we're also not foreign to the trials and tribulations when trying to explore love. Salute to Shada Realist, just joined the chat on IG. One love, one love.
Shout out to everybody on TikTok too. I see y'all, my TikTokers.
In the building. So, again, with this Omalay situation, we just want to, again, give our perspective. We talked about it a little bit personally, but we'll unpack it a little bit here live on air. Michaela, what do you feel, Dawn, what do you feel is the best thing for us to learn from this situation?
Ooh, so I will just preface this by saying that I've been in a relationship. We're going to go on 5 years in a relationship, but I still feel like I'm still learning the, etiquette of things, I guess you could say, what it means to be in a healthy relationship with especially a man and a woman, those kind of dynamics, right? Okay. So when I say what I'm about to say, please know that I'm also still learning and I am not perfect by any means. So when I first saw it, the first thing I said was, Amir, Daze, what do you think I should have, if I was in that situation, what do you think I should have done? What do you think is better? Because I'm in the world of like, I could have gotten on stage, maybe not do too much touching, but still get that moment, right? But after we had our own conversation, it's like if you're in a relationship, especially if you're with your man, girl, just don't go on that stage. It's not worth the headache. It's not worth the possibility of things being taken the wrong way, or your significant other or your family or whoever being like, oh, you ain't even that loyal. You ain't this. Maybe you didn't do that, but you did this. You did, there's just a whole unnecessary can of worms that can open up, especially if your man is in the front row watching you and you can't control another person. My ladies, we can't control what these men do. So you go on stage, try to keep your distance. But if Omalay brought you on stage, he's trying to make a moment out of this. So as much as you may try, he still might do, you know what I'm saying? So it's just better, in my opinion, after we had our own conversation and after going down our own content deep dive, I was like, you know what? It's not worth the headache. Just don't go on stage.
I gotta be honest here. Fact of the matter is, I have a pretty good memory, and I'm blessed to have that memory. So when it comes down to the journey of realizing why I choose this love consistently day in and day out, it's a very, very spiritual experience that has brought me here. And it's no secret, we like to have fun. I was sixth grade. I was in sixth grade when I first went to a dance where, you're trying to get your first little, groove. You try to get your first little twerk. Without the chaperones,
that was in 8th grade for me.
So again, I've been in a lot of situations, a lot of functions, and I know, girls just want to have fun. The fact of the matter is, from my perspective, do not do it because of me. And I actually, again, I had a little bit of a energetic issue, honestly, with you asking my perspective first and foremost, because I want you to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I want you to go through your memory bank, go through your personal moral compass and say, this is who I want to be. This is who I want to show up as.
Yep.
Because there's no secret. We'll get into the situations, but we were tested in this love. Again, we met, had a great summer when we first met, you know what I'm saying, in the workspace, but you still had a senior year to finish up in college. And
I wanted to do it the college way.
Yeah. And that depends on your perspective and your opinion. Yeah. So I'm sure these folks in this situation, they're around college age.
Yeah.
And again, around that time, I moved out to LA. So I had some choices to make. And I had already been through a certain level of, again, trials and tribulations. I've been on a roller coaster journey of love again since that fifth, sixth grade time frame, trying to find love, discovering, all right, which side of the fence am I on? Am I, completely loyal? Am I a serial monogamist, as some folks have joked about at different points in time? Or am I out here trying to be a player from the Himalayas? Fact of the matter is, we're all on our own journey. And especially nowadays, the opportunity to discover yourself, your identity, your sexuality. Again, you also sharing with me your journey of discovering your identity and sexuality. Again, I'm very humbled, and I have this, a sister that is very close to my age. Again, born in '95, she's born in '97. Michaela, Dawn, Mickey's born in '97 as well. So, I've had a number of different experiences. So it's definitely something to look at and laugh at. And clearly, if you're in that situation, it's not, an easy situation to be in.
Yeah,
you're pulled a lot of different ways. They're technically not married yet. And just understanding that that's a big, step. And when you just analyze how frequent divorce is, again, we're no secret to how divorce can affect a family. So it's very, very interesting. Everybody's laughing at it, but I honestly think about it from a lot of different angles.
Yeah.
And especially with us being performers and us being on stage.
I was gonna bring that part up
taking
too.
this leap of faith. Yeah. Go ahead. What you like to say?
I want to also shout out. There's a little conversation going on TikTok, so I want to shout out Alex and Adam for what they bringing up. Alex said that everyone should get one celebrity pass. It has to be there, just one, one time. Adam was saying this should apply to strip clubs and dancing at clubs. You shouldn't be dancing with anybody else. In this day and age, commitment, there should be no passes.
Okay.
And then Alex said, if it's my partner's celebrity crush, I'd be happy for them, not jealous. So there's so many different ways, and that's why we bring up our own point of view, right? Because at the end of the day, it is on you and your relationship, how you guys decide what makes the most sense. And a big part of what also makes things unique for Amir and I is that not only could we be the couple that's in the front row watching the show, but we also could be the couple that's on stage and being the one to have to bring others up or engage others. So when we're thinking about this, we're thinking about this from a lot of different sides and angles. So part of our brand is, seeing us together, seeing us in a healthy relationship. That's something that we take pride in. And we had to fight and work a long time to even get to this point, right? So that's why it's always, again, to each his own. And, I get why Amir, when he was kind of like, why are you asking me? Just do what you think is best. Look, I don't like conflict. I don't like to do a whole bunch of, unnecessary stuff. So for me, I was like, look, what makes sense for us and what we think is good for our relationship to have the least amount of stress.
I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that we've grown to this point.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely
we have to honor that. It's been a long time coming. I had to learn some lessons. We both committed love crimes, that we've had to learn from. So again, we're not perfect by any means, but again, that was why I was just like, what? It's not worth the stress. It's not worth the stress, Lord.
It's funny because I'm pretty sure the song is still number one. Jack Harlow's "Loving on Me."
Yep.
And I ain't really say anything in the car on the way over here because I was locked in, trying to make sure we got here to get on air on time. Again, just timeliness is next to godliness. Cleanliness is next to godliness. So shout out to that. Everybody out there, shout out to CPT. You dig? Let's continue to
Black History Month.
let's continue to sharpen those swords. But he had a bar in the song where he was, again, he's manifesting energy. He knows what he's doing. He says, if you came with your man, let go
of his hand.
Yeah. And the whole situation is, again, once you're in a vibe, once you're in a venue, you feel like you need to follow directions when somebody has that microphone, when somebody's the master of ceremonies, the MC.
There's a responsibility you have when you're that person on stage.
Real deal. So, fact of the matter is, I'm all here for it, man. Again, I am here to support women in every way possible. Again, women have been my biggest inspiration since I can remember. Special shout out to Mama that loves me more than the universe. That brings this Moonwalking with Dawn Daze back full circle. Shout out to all of our queens that have, again, paved the way in so many different ways. Again, the black woman is not only a key source of inspiration, but Malcolm X has said it. There's a major source of, pain and trauma that this world has projected on the black woman as well. And when it comes down to protecting our black women, it's an interesting conversation. And even when it comes down to sexualizing somebody and how this situation blows up
Yeah.
You know, again, I definitely want to send special energy, healing energy to both of those individuals going through this situation, because ultimately we want to grow from it. Yeah, get your laughs off, have your fun, but we want to grow from it. And just being in a situation where, again, I do not want anybody to be manipulative or controlling with the women that are in my family. So why would I do that to another woman?
Yeah.
And that's where it's very important to understand that it's great to, you know, catch a vibe with your partner, deep dive, and get each other's perspective. But at the end of the day, we are individuals. We need to be responsible for our own decisions. And I feel like it's dangerous when you start to people please, because then when you are not being the truest version of yourself, then you get to a point where you might resent that person. You might resent that partner. And hey, man, I ain't about to have a long-term relationship with no desperate housewife. It's all good. We just need to keep this shit $1,000 a buck, because I know who I am. And quite frankly, I could very well. Again, I got songs before I met you where it's like, hey, ladies, what's up? Yo, fellas, watch a girl. You know what I'm saying? But fact of the matter is, once you find somebody that's you feel is worth it and you want to build a foundation for family and just navigate the healthiest life for yourself, you start to ask yourself different questions. And for some people, again, being perpetually single, that's their thing. I'm not everybody, so I cannot speak to their experiences. I know with my experiences, I like a level of peace. And sometimes when I got too much in the pot, when I got too much going on, too much flavor, hey, it could get a little spicy. So, again, just send a special energy to them. There are a lot of different love and relationship issues that we can talk about, but we thought that one was especially interesting because of how it just relates to us right now.
Absolutely. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this. And for now, let's get into some old school love vibes, because Lord knows we need it.
Heal.
Keep it locked. Moonwalking with Dawn Daze on 101 TKO Radio.
Heal.
clear the air a little bit with just some Night and Day in Forever My Lady, because Lord knows, you know, we need to get back into that 90s R&B love, okay? Man, so we were talking a little bit about the Oh My Lay concert and, you know, the viral moment with seeing Homegirl give it to him a little bit behind the curtain, and you see her boyfriend in the front row watching, and the security guards are laughing at him, Lord. So we had to have a little bit of our own conversation since we are, you know, in this world of media and entertainment. We understand what it's like to be the one on stage and to be the one in the crowd. So we want to keep that conversation going. You know, when we talk about what it's like to behave in public and when you're in a relationship and you're single, and, you know, for us, the big part of what we learned in our relationship was really coming back to what we feel like is our true nature, who we really are. You know what I mean? Shout out to Benny Swab, just checked in on Instagram. Appreciate y'all and all of our TikTokers. When we first started back in 2018, when we met back in the corporate America days, I had just turned 21. Amir turned 23 earlier that year, so we were still fairly young when we had met each other, but when you know, you know. And it wasn't necessarily the fact that the love was hard, it was more so the respect and commitment part that was difficult for us, that we had to learn in real time, especially me, because I had come from a place of, you know, just not all the way believing in committed relationships. I even had my own period of being in a polyamorous relationship, right? All while still knowing Amir. So when we think about these things of what it means, hey, my dad's here too. What up, Dad? Pappy? When we think about all those things of what it means to be in a healthy relationship, it is so subjective and it is so individual and it is such a journey. You know, people talk about being in the honeymoon phase, and ideally, you know, trying to be in the honeymoon phase for the entire of your relationship. That's just not all the way realistic. You want to try and capture that energy of, you know, love and newness in your relationship, but sometimes that gets hard and you have to be creative with it. And someone said it earlier on here, communication is everything. Communication is key. Communication. Yes, and being honest, you know, being honest about what you expect out of your partner and what you expect out of your own life. So that's why 3 years ago or 4 years ago, my response to some of these questions might have been different. And it's not because I'm different. It's because I'm learning more and more about myself and what I desire in a relationship. And because I desire him, I want to make sure that I'm aligned with what he desires as well, right? Not changing us, not changing myself, not asking him to change, but finding more alignment between us both. So, evolution. You know how it goes. But even those that are in the honeymoon phase and getting ready to be married even have their slip-ups. Amir heard a little anecdote over the weekend that I think would be interesting for the world to hear a little bit more about too. So, absolutely. What you got to say about that, Dave?
Hey, shout out to Shy Moss, man. Shout out to Bow Weezy, Dave. You know what I'm saying? Let me hold you.
Little Bow Wow.
Hey, you know, being in the 90s, baby, you already know the impact that brother has on our lives. Again, growing up together, you know, we gotta stay humble in so many different ways. You know, so from like Mike to him being a father, it's been a very, very, again, interesting just journey to see him on and see how he evolves and how he speaks to things. So he was just talking about how he will never get married. He was on a podcast called The Art of Dialogue, I believe it was called. Mm. And essentially, he was saying that he had a situation where he just saw a bride to be having her bachelorette party in the same hotel suite. Again, he was in a location hosting a club, and they had the after party.
He was in Minnesota. He said
he did say that. Hey, y'all, Minnesota, man. Okay, I mean that's where.
Didn't say it get cold in Minnesota. Was that song?
Oh yeah, cold like Minnesota. Yeah, shout out to you too.
Yeah.
Right.
Because she was cold.
Hey, no, she cold blooded. Basically, this is a Caucasian persuasion individual woman, and she basically is like, yo, y'all popping, what y'all got going on over here? I get married tomorrow. I need me a mandingo. I need me a black man.
She was a BBC before she get married.
Yeah, she was like, hey, there's one thing. You know what I'm saying? He was just like, man, that's cold. That's cold-blooded. So It's
Did they go through with it? Did somebody?
Yeah, Bow connected somebody in his camp. You know, he threw the alley oop. So again, shout out to So Def, Jermaine Dupri, the whole Atlanta ecosystem that has been building here. Definitely shout out 50 years of hip hop. We still celebrating that. Don't get it twisted.
50
And
years
the A has had a undeniable impact on the game, especially in the 21st century. So one love to Atlanta. Again, world today, y'all know the vibe. So just with that situation, again, a couple that's about to go on their honeymoon, and just to carry that energy into it, again, it's different. You know what I'm saying?
Different strokes.
Different folks. Yeah, I was about to say like
she was getting some different strokes.
Hey yo. So
I cracked myself up.
Hey, it works. So it's very interesting to think about having these conversations when you have a spotlight on you.
Yeah.
And when you're connected to high energy, high resources, just high visibility. And being in that, ecosystem where there is a lot going on, especially when you go to a concert, when you're in a major city where a lot of people are moving and shaking, and there's just a lot of, attractive people that are looking for opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's where Moonwalking with Dawn Daze for us takes on a whole new meaning, because we have to decide to continue to walk on the moon. After you have that honeymoon, how do you continue to embody and capture that energy of creating that love, of harnessing that love from season to season? And it takes creativity. It gets harder, but there's more of a reward. That's what I believe, and that's what has inspired us to be on this journey.
Absolutely.
So, talking about Moonwalking, we do have some special space news.
Hey.
Yes, indeed. So, last Thursday, a little bit after our last show, this article was on 2/22 at 7:15 p.m. from Forbes. Spacecraft makes first U.S. moon landing in over 50 years. Intuitive Machines, which is a privately owned company, uncrewed. They're uncrewed, so this spacecraft did not have anybody on it.
It was all robotic.
Absolutely. It's called Odysseus. Their Odysseus spacecraft made the first moon landing by an American vehicle specifically that, in more than 50 years last Thursday evening. So, finishing a week-long voyage from Earth after a short delay and marking the first ever soft lunar landing by a private company. So, it's very interesting to see how our world is evolving and the different conversations that we're having. And we're here to have all levels to the conversation of what people may or may not believe. Again, we certainly want to open those kind of conversations up and, bring different guests. When we talk about Moonwalking, we want to definitely tap in with our science community, people that study this day in and day out, and tap in with our spiritual community, people that, go beyond science for their knowledge. So it's a beautiful thing to, again, just think about, wow, they put a spacecraft on that moon we see in the sky.
Yeah. And not only was it a spacecraft that by an American vehicle for the first time in over 50 years, but it was, I'm sure NASA allowed it, but it was a private company.
Yeah.
So that's what's so interesting about this. Okay, they awarded them some money so that they could do it. That's what's so interesting about
$118 million.
Oh, that's not just some money. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a
very exploration is not
very,
cheap.
very pretty.
And we got a lot of things to figure out here on Earth too, so I understand. It's a complicated conversation.
Yeah. But what is interesting is that, now people are taking those trips to the moon, like not everybody, but I am curious. I feel like in our lifetime days, we'll be able to go to the moon.
What were the vibes when we first met?
I think you should tell them what you promised me. What did you promise me?
So it's an evolution. I got to give a special shout out to my Uncle Joe, and how he's inspired me in different ways.
Joe.
Yeah, for sure. We all got that smooth uncle that, is a player from the Himalayas, and, and just knows how to talk that game. So this was when I was like a freshman in high school. He told me to, look at the moon as something I could give to a young lady and say, hey, whenever you see that moon in the sky, we might not be near each other, think of me. So
that's such an Uncle Joe.
Hey man, shout out to Uncle Joe.
Joe.
Funny guy, man. He out in Tampa. Shout out to all the Florida family, man. So at this point, I'm in a situation where I've seen the evolution of technology, and I got big vision and big plans for, you know, wealth building and resources. So it's like, yo, I know Jeff Bezos and them just did a little trip to the moon, or did a trip to outer space, not to the moon. But just seeing where technology evolves in the next 25, 30 years, if we can make it work in the budget, if it makes sense, well, you gotta make it make sense, you know, spiritually and for the community too. But hey, we going to the moon. Rocking with me, we will literally go to the moon. So this is just
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yeah.
I didn't forget when you told me that, and I'm gonna continue.
Hey,
We're gonna be in our 60s. I'm gonna be looking at my watch like, look,
what's going on? But,
when we go to the moon.
but that's the beautiful thing, because again, even with the Apple Vision Pros nowadays,
Yeah.
you know, they have
You feel
different
like you are
features
on the
in
moon.
VR. So there's many different ways that we can go to the moon, and Moonwalking with Dawn Daze is one of those prominent examples. So,
Yeah.
you know, very grateful for all those that have contributed to our knowledge of the universe, and it inspires us to this day. You know, from the National Aeronautic Space Administration to Noble Action Succeed All.
Yeah.
So, again, much gratitude, many blessings. Hey, as we continue to moonwalk, we want to give a special shout out to DDG and Hallie.
Yes, and their beautiful, beautiful baby that we have not seen, but I've seen little glimpses of him, and he's adorable. Shout out to Halo.
And that's another one of those situations, is again having a relationship in the public,
Yeah.
in the public eye. So, you know, them being in a situation where they're uncovering new layers and chapters of their love, and they've been doing it with this generation. I know, you know, a lot of the millennials and Gen Z have been tapped in with their journey since they've been younger. They started their journeys rather young on YouTube.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah.
So shout out to all the YouTubers out there making it happen. Shout out to AMP, Any Means Possible, out here in Atlanta. Y'all doing y'all thing. Just real quick anecdote, or not anecdote, but about that Omalay situation. Kai Sinat actually did a whole stream
That's right.
with the brother that was in the crowd. So he did one of those 20v1s digitally, where the brother, again, was just, you know, having different ladies shoot their shot at him. So everything is equalized, man. Again, at the end of the day, everybody just make sure you're having fun, taking care of yourself. And, you know, just don't just mess up anybody else's world and mess up their vibe. Again, just keep it respectful, keep it peace, and move in your own direction. Ain't no need to make somebody else's life a misery.
Mm-hmm.
If it don't work, if it's not working, man, keep it stepping, man. So much gratitude. Shout out to Pops Paget, for sure. It's a big blessing.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. So, again, bringing it full circle, again, with DDG and Hallie and this YouTuber community, and just seeing how people talk about their love, how, you know, you introduce your relationship, how you introduce a child to the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we definitely know there's a lot of just babies that are becoming young adults. Again, we talked a little bit about Northwest last week, making history. You know, Blue Ivy was doing her thing on a Renaissance festival. So these children coming of age in the public eye under that kind of scrutiny, it's a delicate thing.
Yeah.
It's a delicate thing. So it's definitely, again, a blessing just to be who we are as individuals, and just to be a vessel of support, because we know everybody has their own path to fame and has their own path to love. And it's not that we're necessarily chasing either. We want to, you know, embrace what comes with us, but it's no secret. Once you enter the public spotlight, you got to be aware of what that comes with. It's a lot of responsibility. So, all that to say, DDG, Moonwalking with Calabasas, that song, I know was one of his first plaques, one of his first big moments. I believe it's double platinum now.
I think that, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I shout out to the version featuring Blueface. And, you know, again, just send a healing energy to, you know, Krishan Rock and Blueface and their child, man. And again, that's a whole another conversation that I know some folks might be tired of having in different ways, but, you know, Krishan is from Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? My mom's been living in Baltimore for the past 10 years. My sister is close to the Baltimore area. So, again, I'm always going, you know, just send healing energy to us all as we're building. And shout out to all the queens, again, out here just trying to make it happen, trying to do their best to not only hold it down for themselves and handle their business, because we know a lot of queens out here have, you know, had to hold it down because, you know, there are certain, you know, brothers that might be locked up. We already know how the system goes. So it's a lot of different layers, but we want to just make sure we're sending that healing energy, we're being a resource for that healing, and we continue to moonwalk. We continue to keep that high perspective. So, hey, we here, man. It's real. The energies aligned a week ago. First time in over 50 years, NASA funding intuitive machines to put that spacecraft on the moon. So, again, as we transition to this next segment, we got a lot more to come. We're going to talk to you all a little bit about, again, that YouTuber energy. Drewski's been doing this thing a little bit.
So, over this break, y'all can expect to enjoy, again, Moonwalking with Calabasas, with DDG, and a Welcome to Atlanta vibe. You are Moonwalking with Dawn Daze on 101 TKO Radio.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom.
Welcome back. You are Moonwalking with Dawn and Daze on 101 TKO Radio. Before the break, we were talking a little bit about the moon landing, so I want to just shout out again to that big historic moment that happened on 2/22 1 week ago, and what happened to correspond with the launch of this beautiful radio show partnered with 101 TKO Radio. When we're thinking about, having owned content like this platform here, it is becoming more and more important in this day and age. Special shout out again to Welcome to Atlanta and JD, Jermaine Dupree. We had a great time at the A3C conference, and a lot of what they were talking about was the same idea, having your own content, having your own media platform. The future of entertainment is having the skills that you need so you can develop your own show, you have your own platform, you have your own connections, because we're seeing more and more how everyone is building their own thing. So it's so important that you're investing in yourself, you're investing in conferences, you're investing in people that want to invest in you so that you can build this up. A3C, what was that, September of last year that we went, around the end of September, or was it the end of October?
Either or.
I think it was the end of September here in Atlanta. That was a dope moment. I don't know if you want to share anything about your experience, Days, and how you felt over there at the A3C and what you saw.
Yeah, A3C, all three coasts.
That's what. Yep, all three coasts. Yeah.
Yes. Hey, Atlanta, ATL is real. It's real. It's a beautiful thing to be welcomed to Atlanta, and again, being from the DMV, to welcome others to the DMV. But wherever we go, again, we want to have that global perspective. We want to have that universal perspective. So that's one of the things I loved about A3C, is that you can tell that Atlanta is its own world.
Yeah.
It's its own universe here, similar to New York, similar to LA. Again, shout out to all these beautiful, beautiful cities across the nation that have contributed to the culture. And ain't no secret. With that beauty also comes another side of ugliness.
Mm-hmm.
That we navigate. So
yeah,
just being able to weather those storms, being able to understand the fabric of these cities, and specifically with Atlanta, being able to heal, being able to grow. And ain't no secret, conflict is a real thing. And when it comes down to the hip hop community and different conflicts, different beefs, we want to make sure that we're doing what we can to pass down knowledge to the next generation.
Yeah.
I know even when it comes down to the tension between generations, again, special love to Atlanta's own Killer Mike and him sweeping the Grammys. But at the end of the day, there are so many different layers to these award shows and to the industry, where you have to be aware of the spiritual warfare going on and not let people get under your skin, not let these organizations get under your skin and cause you to act out of character, cause you to spark unnecessary conflict and warfare over something that's materialistic. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you can't take it with you. So
yeah,
just that perspective is definitely very important to maintain intact, because I know, again, not everybody, you can't please everybody. So there's always some type of drama around these award shows, whether it's, again, the BET Awards, Hip Hop Awards here in Atlanta, and the quality and production of what BET can produce, or some of these black-owned media platforms. Again, I know BET has been through its peaks and valleys of black ownership, and I believe still going through some negotiations. Mm-hmm. I know there are a couple situations there, but again, Tyler Perry being here in Atlanta, I know he's had a lot of conversations with BET over these years, and again, a lot of folks have different perspectives on his impact, but it's undeniable what he's been able to build from a resource perspective. So again, we want to just celebrate this black history, these melanated leaders responsibly, because we have to be honest in how we grow. So I think, just A3C certainly takes a lot from Jack the Rapper here in Atlanta, and Atlanta's been that kind of ecosystem. Freaknik, the Hulu documentary that Jermaine Dupree's been working on, he spoke at AC3, so that'll be coming out in less than a month. March 21st, I believe, is the launch date. So, hey, keeping the peace, rising above it, but at the same time, again, let's channel that competition, because sometimes you got to get some things off your chest. And people love a versus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was why they were so big during the pandemic and that shutdown time. And I think a lot of times people hype up, beef or conflict for content, right? sometimes there's a whole lot of other stuff going on behind the scenes that, the public has no idea about because all they're trying to do is just make a little extra bread. That kind of reminds me of even in the Divine Nine universe, how I think sometimes we'll hype up certain beefs between the Deltas and the AKAs or the Alphas and the Kappas, just the Alphas and the Noops, just to create some kind of, again, spectacle and fervor, get people talking. I mean, I remember on campus at University of Houston, shout out to all my Cougs, whenever we were promoting an event, a lot of times we would totally play into the beef part of things, act like everybody's having a fight. There's a whole Twitter conversation happening just to get people talking, just to get people wondering what's going to happen. Next thing you know, we drop a flyer and everybody that was beefing with each other is actually working together. So when I see things like Drewski coming to Atlanta and he's talking about standing on business, shout out to that song, Standing on Business, and just that whole ecosystem that Drewski
grew up around in this area, I believe.
Okay, bet.
Yeah,
I remember him
Gwinnett
saying.
County, I think.
Did he also did for some reason was he ever like in the DMV? I don't know why I thought that was the case
He
too.
might have had some connections there and spent some chapters there.
Okay, but
I know he claims Atlanta though.
yeah, okay. Well, that being said, someone else claims Atlanta. King Harris, TIP's son, he calls himself the king of Atlanta, and who there that little tiff between them about who coined standing on business and made it the cultural phrase that it is right now. Obviously, people have been saying standing on business for generations, but now it's becoming that, one of those phrases, just like period, has always been said, but now it's a whole different level thanks to the City Girls. So Drewski and King going back and forth of who is the one that blew up standing on business. And so we thought it was interesting to bring that kind of conversation up when we think about what a beef is. What does that even mean to be in, to have beef with somebody else, right?
Yeah, impossible beef is it real beef?
Exactly. I'm a vegetarian. I'm a vegan. I don't know nothing about no beef.
Mondays through Thursdays.
Yeah, I still like my fish and chicken every now and again. So when we were thinking about this conversation, it's like even other things like Lotto and Ice Spice and what they have going on between them. A lot of these things, especially in modern times, even going back to the East Coast versus West Coast in the 90s, it wasn't always just the artists themselves that were actually in beef. It was the fans. It's the people that are watching this happen that are making things so much worse. Even with Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj, I think a lot of those air quote beef between them was hyped up by their fans, hyped up by Twitter. So let's just remember, everybody, that we keep things humble, we keep things on the high vibration as much as we can. Last thing we're trying to do is incite more violence, especially between Black creators. There's already, competition just for us to be seen, for us to be respected as content creators in this space. So last thing we want to do is, fight amongst ourselves and end up losing out on opportunities because none of us want us to win. So I mean, that's the the quick part of it, the quick and skinny of how I would bring it up. I don't know if you have anything else that you want to add to that part of things, Daze.
I just want to communicate a level of humility and the perspective that I've been able to develop on conflict over the years, because trust and believe, when you try to be something that you're not, you will get exposed. So being able to build a level of confidence in yourself to, again, either stand on business, stand on divine principle, stand on a certain side of a battle, of a war.
Yep.
You want to definitely honor what it means to really be in that kind of position. So, what's beef when you're talking about the conflicts globally going on right now?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of these petty beefs and petty conflicts really? So it's just really respecting things on the different levels, and also understanding that, again, we are human beings. We sometimes like to tap into an animalistic nature. I love MMA. Shout out to my uncle being an MMA fighter, and again, those guys get down. And afterwards, there's a level of honor and respect.
Yeah.
So even though you might beat somebody to a, bloody, what I'm saying, we've seen Unc do that. We've seen Unc knock people out. We've seen him, leave people leaking.
Have blood all over his clothes from somebody else.
Different. Shout out to Moose Bayena, on his professional journey right now. So all across he's 30 years old and turning 31 in April. So again, special shout out to Uncle Moose. He just moved from Rochester down to Florida. You know, taking on Miami, Boca Raton, that whole area. So it's a big salute to Moose. We want to bring him in a one-on-one TKO. You know we got to. We really connected to this fight game for real. So one love, and I know it takes a whole energy for us when we see in those spaces. But at the end of the day, you want people to be able to go back home to their families.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing in music, same thing in sports. Again, we've done seen the Malice in the Palace and certain fans that also channel their pain and their trauma or their drama, or they might just be having fun and just channeling their enthusiasm into these sports. And that's something that I believe happens in music, but music is a different paradigm. You don't have the same structure and organization. And even they talk about it even when it comes down to the unions and insurance.
Yeah,
you know,
so true.
You know, if there is injury and if there is harm done, if damage is done to certain people, to their mind, body, or souls. So I think that's something to keep in mind for sure. But one of the great things Atlanta has a reputation for has been that healing component.
Yeah.
You know, again, East Coast, West Coast is not the South. You know, again, there are obviously things that have gone down here in the city of Atlanta. We're not oblivious to that, especially over these past couple of decades. There are legal dynamics, again, troubling the city to this day. So we know this is a delicate conversation, but when it comes down to some of these things going on with the ladies, Ice Spice and Lotto, you know, that's light. I feel like that's a little impossible burger.
I hope it stays that way. You know, it was a little dangerous. Where some people could say it was dangerous of Lotto to pull up in Ice Spice's hood down the street from where she grew up. Don't know what could have happened there, right? But a lot of times I think, like we were saying, you do the conflict for the content. And I think the biggest part about it is that you're channeling it properly. If there's actually something there and you put it in the art and it becomes a whole moment, that's a beautiful thing. So shout out to Meg and Nikki. But before we, you know, can shout out anybody else, we got to shout out the fact that God is on top of everything and working through us all. So let's all remember that we God's children. All of us are specially chosen.
Love.
But with that
Love is
being
supreme.
said, let's go into a little bit of music break. Shout out to Ice Spice and Lotto. Let's hear their back and forth with each other. I personally think I'm the ish, and I'm not afraid to pull up on somebody like Sunday Service, all with love and God at the foundation. Once again, you're moonwalking with Dawn Daze on 101 TKO Radio. You're moonwalking with Dawn and Daze on 101 TKO Radio. Welcome back. Shout out to Ice Spice. Shout out to Lotto. Shout out to put in that beef and that conflict in the art. Channel it accordingly,
Yeah,
okay?
the ladies been killing it.
Shout out to my rap
They've
queens.
been embodying this whole music industry for real.
Hey, shout out. It's only up from here. I'm really her, you know. That's what we got to keep speaking over ourselves. While we in this space talking about, channeling your art correctly and with, the right intention, with that right spiritual energy, it's important that we remember that not everybody is going to have your best interests in mind. And integrity is so important, especially when we're talking about your art. And sometimes the best way to keep your integrity is having your own content, having your own media platform. That's why we love partnering with TKO Radio. It's a Black-owned radio station in a Black-owned building. Big shout out to that. That is a huge blessing. And having these kind of opportunities for people like us, people of color, people that are in the spiritual space, that are creative, we got to prioritize doing that as much as possible. That's what it's all about. Big shout out to 19 Keys. I know that he was someone that was recently at the A3C conference that we were talking about recently.
Salute.
And he's also creating his own platform. He's been talking about that a lot and how 2024 is that year where all of us need to be keeping that vision in mind.
High level.
Yes. So, Daze, share with the class, the group, the people listening, all our
What's up,
moonwalkers
fam?
out,
What's up,
all our moonwalkers out there.
Yeah.
Share a little bit about some advice that you would say about how to create your own content and your own media platform and some ways that they could, start that right now.
Word. Advice. Knowledge. Insight. Ultimately, everything that we seek is within us.
Mm-hmm.
So, please understand anything that I might highlight is simply reinforcement to your truth. When it comes down to our value and how we value ourselves, it's important to do so on a spiritual level, but we have to bring that spiritual journey down here to the earth.
Yeah.
When we talk about that funyon, you can't really have no funyon without the munyon. You dig?
Okay.
That cash, that dollar, cash rules everything around me. It's a very, very real conversation. And on this journey of ownership, the history of our people in this country, and knowing that the economic liberation, the economic activism is a big part of it. And
Yeah.
it's no secret that there are a lot of problematic contracts that get signed in the entertainment industry. And when we are seeing big business evolve in real time in terms of how content gets distributed, it's incredibly important to be aware of how we value ourselves. The distribution process has certainly shifted because of streaming services, because of platforms and such as YouTube, and because of the internet overall.
Yeah.
So it certainly, in certain senses, it decentralizes the power. The power at different times has been centralized in, spaces of just exclusive parties. Just there being that one table of the elites, if you will, and them controlling everything. That is a narrative that may or may not still reign true in certain environments and certain scenarios. But when I look at the clear evidence, there are so many creatives that have been able to build a name for themselves, that have been able to use their phones and be able to create and make a big impact.
Yeah.
in
Make a
music,
living.
art, film, make a living, and support their families, and do so in a way where they can stay true to themselves, stay true to their content. So special shout out to all the content creators out there that have been courageous, that have been visionary,
Yeah.
and that we're doing it before it was a super popular thing. So special shout out to all of y'all. Bringing it full circle again, if I could give any level of wisdom at this point in the journey, is understanding that with the internet and with technology, we have the opportunity to build our own community. So when you build your own community, being able to take that community from platform to platform will serve you. And even when we think about the ways of monetization, do not forget that even though these streaming services might only, pay a fraction of a penny for every stream, there are other ways to sell your music.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can have your own platform, and if you have the proper connection with your community, look, once I heard the math be broke down like this, If I got 1,000 people willing to spend $100 on me throughout the year, we're hitting that 6-figure mark.
Yeah.
So whether it's
1,000
merchandise,
people spend
shows,
$100 a year.
absolutely, absolutely. And special shout out to all the streamers out there that are making money, and with every subscription, they get that money directly. I know these large streaming platforms do take a percentage. So definitely be mindful of that, of the platforms that you're working with, and make sure that you're educated on the different splits and you're being balanced in your approach, because you got to start somewhere and you got to respect the big players in the space. But ultimately, again, you got to be on your P's and Q's. So bringing it all full circle, we just watched Drewski's premiere. I know I watched the whole thing. You called a piece of it,
Yeah.
Dawn. But Drewski, he was shopping his Coulda Been Records concept to a lot of different major spaces. He was speaking about this on Breakfast Club, but essentially after getting on all the Zooms, talking to all the execs, they still didn't see the vision to put his program on television. And the fact of the matter is, people aren't watching TV like they used to be. YouTube for some people is the new TV.
Yeah.
So he went ahead and had some partnerships. Special shout out to Raising Cane's again. Shout out to the whole Texas family. My life was forever changed the first time
Bruh,
I
Raising
pulled up in
Cane's,
Houston and had some
man.
Raising Cane's, man.
We've been eating Raising Cane's since I was 15, okay? Y'all just getting caught up to
Hey.
what we was getting down in Houston.
Raising Cane's, you busting for real. Shout out to the special sauce, pause. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely appreciate the cane sauce. Appreciate, that whole vibe again. Be responsible in how you eat from any fast food place for sure, or just be responsible with how you nourish yourself in general. That said, though, Raising Cane's put up 50 grand.
That was smart.
They had other partners. I know they had Nike as a partner.
Yep. Their house was dope. The Could Have Been house that Drewski's using. It looks like he's in Atlanta. I feel like they're in Atlanta, or are they in LA? Do you know where they're shooting at?
They might be in LA.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they might be in LA. But special shout out if they are here in the A. But clearly, both of those cities are big in the filmmaking space, in the content space.
Yep.
And again, sometimes you got to make it happen yourself. So he's again taking that route, putting his own reality show out on YouTube, and that premiere last night. So just special shout out to all these entrepreneurs. Even though Drewski's done numbers, Could Have Been Records definitely has had a lot of viewership. He's in a position where he has to take some special routes to monetize. Man, dealing with YouTube, there's a whole bunch of different guidelines that you have to make sure you follow so you can monetize. So that's a process of its own. Again, special shout out to all our fellow music artists out there using DistroKid or TuneCore or United Masters, and trying to navigate how to monetize there. I know Bandcamp has been a special platform to us as well, allowing folks to give donations on different projects.
And pay directly for the project. Yep.
Absolutely. Got to give a special shout out to Nipsey Hussle that sold a mixtape for $100. Again, always going to celebrate that moment and experience a lot of success there. And, Jay-Z bought about 100 copies of that project. So, the marathon. So, again, it's a journey. It is legitimately a marathon. And I know Brother Nipsey Hussle was definitely speaking on that a lot. Again, we just talked about 19 Keys earlier. That's a big part of his movement, talking about owned media, owned content and platform. Special shout out to Earn Your Leisure, who 19 Keys and his show Higher Level Conversations, they partner up with Earn Your Leisure. And those brothers, I know Rashad of Earn Your Leisure just celebrated. Shout out to Rashad and Troy, who are also at A3C, all three coasts here in Atlanta, speaking and spreading that knowledge and just this financial literacy. How do we get to the bag? How do we do what we love, create, but still make sure we can pay the bills?
And maintain ownership.
Precisely. Yes, it's a critical conversation.
Yeah. So we appreciate y'all tuning in. Of course, Moonwalking with Dawn Daze. Every week we want to make sure that we're giving a special shout out to somebody in our music village. Special shout out to Zay, aka Socrates.
Yes, sir.
Playing a very special tune that he and my brother, shout out to Coyote Gene, produced. Lenny Kravitz Runts, exclusively here on 101 TKO Radio.
Solano, what's up?
Hey, what it do? It's the boy Young Atlanta. You checking in the 101.
Yo, 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 welcome back. You are Moonwalking with Dawn Daze on 101 TKO Radio.
Shout out to Lenny Kravitz Brunts, man.
Yes, big shout out to Socrates. Big shout out to the producer, my brother. Appreciate y'all. Like, when I say my brother, like, legit, y'all, like, that's my brother. Like, we grew up in the same house. He produced that stuff, okay? And he produced a lot of our tracks. So big shout out to what's going down in Houston and how we're bringing it all together here in Atlanta, Houston, Atlanta. Shout out to Vegas too. Why not, right? Man. So today is a very special day because it's an extra day, y'all. Don't forget that this is something that we don't get all the time. An extra day in the year. Instead of it being 365 days in this beautiful Gregorian calendar, we're going 366. Now, I don't know if y'all know, just to get into the astrological side of things. Why do we have an extra day? Well, the Earth doesn't actually rotate in just 365 days. The full rotation of the Earth is 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds. So they had to figure out all the way back in 1582 how they were going to account for this extra 6 hours that was not included on the calendar. So, again, Julius Caesar was the one who first was like, we have to acknowledge this by adding in an extra day. So shout out to Julius Caesar. Honestly, sometimes I forget that he was that influential over literally how we manage our calendars. And fast forward about 100 more years later, Pope Gregory the 13th in 1582 officially made what we call the Gregorian calendar that we honor today, and why we even have a leap year every 4 years. So just a little history for y'all. I don't know if everybody knew that a little bit. That was pretty interesting to me when I found that out recently. And just, I'm sure, we learn these things when we kids, but when you get older, some of those little Jeopardy things completely fly out of your brain. So again, when we have a special day like this, it's an opportunity for us to appreciate the beauty of time, the beauty of respecting our energy, respecting our time, respecting our creativity. Right now, the moon is in Scorpio, so we're seeing a lot of that watery uncovering our emotions. This is a great time to dive deeper into our intuition and our idealism. Think about your bond with yourself, your bond with your family, your bond with the people that are closest to you. That's a great way to just appreciate this extra day that, again, we don't have every year. This is only every 4 years. And a big shout out to anybody that's celebrating something special on this day, whether that's your anniversary or your birthday. Big blessings to you, because I know that that's special for you and it doesn't happen every 4 years. So again, y'all, I appreciate that this is an extra time. All those 6 hours that we didn't account for the last 4 years, all this time that we've been spending even indoors or getting back outside. Let's respect this full extra day that we have by giving thanks and, maybe paying a special person a visit. For my women, I don't know if y'all knew this either, but apparently this is the day when we're allowed to propose to our man. So Daze, I just want you to know that I love you and I appreciate you, and I look forward to the day when you propose to me. But I propose that one day you will propose to me, and I appreciate that so much. And this is what it's all about, doing it together. So thank you, love. Thank you, love. So again, appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Being here with y'all right now is an example of how we're taking advantage of this extra time and honoring the divine heightened emotions and heightened intuition that's happening right now.
It's real. I know it's real. The alignment turning 29 this year, last day in January, and just to have a leap year on the year that I turned 29 is super cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
It's vibes. So shout out to all the leap year babies again. Y'all get 2 days, man. Forget it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got the 28th and the 1st when it's not a leap year. So salute to y'all. We are, again, just here ensuring that we experience that alignment together collectively.
Yeah.
So make sure you do not forget to breathe. It's important. It goes a long way. The little things go a long way. So we want to continue to make sure that we create the space to navigate, to connect throughout this universe. Because when the stars align, we can experience a whole nother level of divine fulfillment. It's at a point right now where in 2024, we have more opportunity, we have more knowledge, we have more ability than we've ever had before
In human history.
in human history. So do not discount what's possible when you put your mind to it and when you truly align with that inner truth and you believe it and you know it.
Yeah.
It's a very real thing. It's a very real energy. So we want to make sure we're reminding you of that you are the creator of your universe. You are a co-creator of your universe. So ensure that you're aligning yourself with the highest frequencies, with the highest version of yourself, so that you can truly live your best life.
Absolutely. Snaps to that.
It's critical. It's critical.
It's been a beautiful time with y'all. Again, moonwalking as we do. And if you want to follow us and engage with us more, Mickey Dawn and Amir Daze, MIKKI LADAWN, and Amir Daze, AMIRDAZE. And of course, all of this is happening exclusively on 101 TKO Radio. Before we just say official goodbye, we got to close out with a beautiful meditation that I'm going to allow Daze to share with y'all.
Yes, indeed. Just want to share some words of affirmation, some nice notes. Our thoughts and actions set the tone for our eternity. It is critical that we develop and maintain impeccable focus on the ultimate purpose. Paradise. Teamwork truly makes dreams work. Our mutual divine creator of essence has presented to me a clear evidence of magnificent measures. I give all praise to the highest for life's experience. We are the mission. Mastering peace within and amongst ourselves is our journey. Living in every moment requires an intentional effort to embrace truth and eliminate distractions. 2020 vision is a sonic and spiritual lens, providing and presenting perspective on the lifestyle that the universe has blessed us with in 2020 and beyond. So, taking those lessons that we all learned collectively in 2020, let's continue to keep the vision clear. Let's continue to carry forward. Let's continue to ensure that we rise and shine above all false evidence appearing real as we build Bayana bridges of the clear evidence. Bayana is my last name, by the way, and Bayana means the clear evidence. And we want to make sure that we're doing this as our noble actions succeed always in all that we do. One love. One heart, one tribe.
Namaste.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Moonwalking with Dawn and Daze on 101 TKO Radio.
Yeah.